Здравствуйте, товарищи, and welcome back to our humble Soviet Republic, nestled deep, seemingly, in the middle of nowhere. Off in the distance, Ashkal is starting to show some additional growing pains, which, as always, is the good kind of pain because it's a sign of progress. Last session, we talked briefly about how our distribution offices are starting to fall behind, and that's rather exciting because it means the distribution systems that have worked for the last 5 or so years are now starting to fray. They're starting to show their limits, and that means we've reached a certain tipping point. That means that this session we are going to rework some of our distribution offices. We're actually going to move some of them around as well from Kurvarud down to Alba Lutakia, but unfortunately we are still limited in having to use the free distribution offices because the paid distribution offices will actually require an additional investment in research into distribution office, aptly named. So yeah, we still have to rely on the free ones, and unfortunately we are at our limit, so that means we have to move some of them around, and it'll be a bit of an undertaking, but a worthwhile undertaking as there is a lot that needs to be managed over here. There are a few things that are starting to fall behind. There are a few systems that we didn't have to worry about until these last couple of sessions, such as the distribution of clothes among the people before it gets exported. There's all kinds of stuff that I'm hoping to solve today. So folks, strap in because it's gonna be intense. As always, if you've been enjoying this series, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know by leaving those likes and comments down below. As always, again, they help me kind of get an understanding of what people are enjoying on the channel, lets me know what I should do more or less of, and how I should go about doing it. Beyond that, again, for the next little while, it'll be a good signal to YouTube as well that the series is back in action, and that it should, in fact, send notifications out to the people who were watching this series previously when it was sort of an ongoing, regularly scheduled thing, and now we're slowly returning to our regular schedule as well. Some of you may have noticed already, and you might have read this in the pinned comment of our first episode back, but I'm actually recording a bunch of these episodes back to back right now. I've got some momentum and I've got the energy, so I'm recording a bunch of these together. So if I'm not addressing comments right now, it's because I haven't read them yet because they technically don't exist at the time of this recording. Hopefully you don't mind, but I am going to be reading them so that when I'm all caught up and when you're all caught up and I'm recording new episodes in line with comments coming through, I'm able to address those old comments as well as the new comments. So don't hesitate to keep them coming, folks. Don't hesitate to keep giving me your feedback, thoughts, suggestions, concerns, because they will get addressed. But right now, yeah, I've got some momentum going, so I wanted to record a few sessions back to back to try and get us back to that regular schedule sooner rather than later. Anyway, enough of me rambling about that. Let's go ahead and actually double time it. There's no reason to go at regular speed. We'll keep an eye on our economy, obviously, because I am about to take on some pretty massive undertakings as far as construction costs and stuff are concerned. Again, not too much on the steel with these buildings still focused on bricks primarily, and we're producing that locally, so it shouldn't be too much trouble. But I mean, there's a lot of construction about to happen, right? I mean, there's quite a bit en route. So I just want to be careful not to overestimate how well we've done so far in recovering our economy. We have done well. I'm quite pleased. I'm quite proud. But we don't want to get too cocky either. We've got the water systems over here en route. That's very exciting, of course. And we're obviously going to go ahead and build an extension from our water supply up over here as well to provide a bit of a redundancy. Apart from that, we do also want to concern ourselves with the distribution of food and clothes and electronics down to this part of Ashkal because, well, as we expand, as we've seen repeatedly, sorry, a bit of a broken record over here, these guys down over here cannot reach the shopping centers up over here. So we need a new shopping center, which maybe should be the first step here because we are, you know, if we're thinking about distribution, then we need to think about our endpoints as well. So first of all, let's go ahead and do a bit of terraforming over here to make sure that at least some of this area just off the road is flat. We're able to expand further downwards, and we're going to go ahead and flatten down the line this entire section. Basically, we're going to do a lot of adjusting, and I believe I spoke about this a handful of sessions ago now, many weeks ago now in real world time, about how, yeah, moving the sand around, I'm not too concerned about doing it at a larger scale. You know, at the beginning of this series, I was like, no, we're not going to do massive terraforming projects because it's a tiny little nothing town just across the river from a source of oil. Whereas now, you know, we're tapping into the oil, we've got our clothing industry, we're actually becoming a proper, you know, city. It's a small city, but it is a proper city, and so it'll start investing a bit more in some of these, you know, terraforming projects and some of these big revamps. Still not going to invest heavily in reshaping entire mountains. That's why up over here, you know, we carved through the mountains as opposed to, you know, dug a trench, basically, which is an option. We could absolutely do that, but I chose not to, again, because of roleplay reasons. But, you know, we'll get there eventually, too. Once we're a full-on metropolis, or even just shy of being a full-on metropolis, yeah, blowing up mountains is a non-issue. And, like, you know, anytime, just as an example, you know, anytime I go up north for, like, a getaway from the city, driving through the Canadian Shield is actually a really cool experience, because you're literally driving through, you know, mountains that have been exploded, and you see the remnants of it on either side of you. It's cool stuff. So we'll definitely be investing in that as we become a richer nation, not just around Ashkakal. The reason why I use that example is because these investments don't happen just around your city centers, but also en route to big, you know, sources of resources. For example, when we eventually tap into, I think it's the coal and iron that's in the mountains over here, yeah, we might need to do a bit of mountain carving, and we absolutely will. Anyway, enough about that. I think this is enough terraforming for the time being. Relatively cheap as well, because it's pretty fast. Again, it's just sand. When you get into the rock and you get the red markers, that's when it becomes more time-consuming, but this is not that. Now, we talked briefly about what kind of shopping center we might want to put down over here, and I hesitate to put down a large one because it would be so tremendously expensive to build. I was also previously talking about potentially putting the shopping area up over here, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself or if I'm saying things that I didn't actually mention last session. Like I said, I'm still not at 100%, folks, so maybe I thought I said some of these things, but I hadn't, and so I'm repeating myself, and then maybe I did already say some of these things, so I'm repeating myself, and I imagine that must be extremely painful from a viewing perspective, so I apologize. But I think I briefly talked about potentially putting the shopping center up over here. We briefly took a look at the big shopping center, which is this one, and I then decided that, you know what, putting this up over here might be a little too redundant. I don't know. I mean, like, these guys would have an additional place to go to shop, but they can go there just fine. Whereas if I put this up over here, we're already at the limits of reach down over here. So I figure, well, why don't we go ahead and just pop this down a little bit lower, you know, service these guys and whatever else comes down over here and down over here, as opposed to have a redundancy up over here for no real good reason. So a bit of an adjustment to my plan there. And yes, again, as I was saying, I was originally wondering if I should do this massive shopping center, and then I looked at the fact that it costs 87 tons of steel, plus a bunch of other resources, but 87 tons of steel, and I thought, you know what, I don't think I need, at any point in time right now, 35 tons of food, 35 tons of clothes, and 24 tons of electronics, alongside 3 tons of meat in a single location. Not right now. We are not at that scale, right? So we're going to look at a small shopping center instead. We got a couple of options. I like this one. It's kind of like long and skinny. It looks quite nice. We got this one, which is even longer and skinnier, so I might go with that one. And the difference between them is marginal as far as how much they can hold. And then there's this one that's a bit more squarish that I don't think I want to put down. We want to do the technical university over here. I'm tempted to do like the swimming pool or something over here as well, and I'm getting a little distracted, so bear with me here. But if we can get the indoor pool, you know, in here somewhere, kind of build like a campus, basically. Small university up there, get the indoor pool somewhere down here. A bit of flattening is all we'd need. Get a couple of monuments in the area. So I wouldn't want to put a shopping mall down here, you know, like that doesn't fit. But across the street, you know, so all the university kids can hop on over for a bite or whatever, a small shopping center does make sense. And this one's quite nice, actually. Yeah, I think I quite like this one. And we go ahead and up, down, how? Trying to figure out how I want it to connect. Like, we'd probably connect over here. Trying to introduce more like right angles going forward, you know? So like if I pop this down over here, we yes end up with a bit of empty space, but I could put down like a trash can or something there to collect garbage from the area. And otherwise have this in a nice spot where it's a fairly straight line. I know it's not perfectly straight, but I'm going to let that go. And yeah, that feels good to me. Let's go ahead and pop you down over there. Got the road connection. We'll have the warehouse just behind. Hopefully we won't need a forklift over here, so that'll make the movement of goods a bit faster as well. So that should be all well and good. Again, I'm a little nervous about the fact that it doesn't show that people can actually reach it. That's partly because the bus stop hasn't been built yet, and that's acting as a bit of a blocker. But surely some of the other roads should provide access. I don't know, it makes me very nervous, but we'll We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I suppose. Go ahead and suspend this construction for the time being, because I do want to make sure these plans work properly before committing. So we'll, suspend that for the time being. Now let's go ahead and just check to make sure. Got this connection here. We've got this connection here. That should be fine. Water's about to come through. I mean, we're making good progress on some of this construction stuff, so that's all well and good. But yeah, okay, sure. Next steps. Let's go ahead and get our warehouse established. Again, I think we can go with the small one. The thing about this one is that it feels... I mean, it feels only kind of rural. I can definitely go to, like... I can go to, like, Midtown Toronto and see warehouses like this, truth be told. Just trying to think about what this region of Ashkakal actually is and what makes sense for it to have in terms of the aesthetic as well, right? But we also have to think about our financial situation. We only have 40-something thousand rubles, which, you know, real quick, I do want to mention, is not bad considering where we were just like a handful of sessions ago. I'm really quite pleased with our recovery, and I actually don't feel like it slowed us down too much right now. Like, I'm moving at the pace that I would probably regularly move at. Yeah, sure, I'm building a smaller shopping center right now than I could if I had, you know, another digit to my treasury. But truth be told, maybe it's better that I'm limiting myself this way. For one, it gives a better sense of progression. Like, as we get bigger, we start investing in some of those bigger options. But also, I think it would have been premature to build that massive shopping center at this point in time anyway. So I think it's actually for the better. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, I guess, but just something I've been thinking about lately in terms of our progress and our rate of progress. I'm really quite pleased with how things have come through. The recovery, man, I'm so pleased with the recovery. I'm shocked that it happened. I was so sure that we'd have to rely on a loan, but here we are. Here we are instead. All right, enough terraforming, hopefully, for the time being. If it becomes too much, then yes, I will edit out, but otherwise, it's relatively quick terraforming. We'll see how we can fit in over here. But I did also want to check. I mean, yeah, we're doing okay. Let me just check real quick. In terms of clothes, we got 4 tons over here, so we should be fine for the time being. The issue is that construction right now actually needs a bit of an adjustment because steel and stuff is only available down here. So before I forget, let's go ahead and make sure that steel and boards are coming from down here for you. I think you'll need that adjustment as well. There's a couple of adjustments we'll need to make, but for the time being, let's make sure these ones are done so that we aren't lagging too far behind. Go ahead and assign you. There you go. That should be all the ones that need assigning, and I can turn my attention back to here. All right, so you're not being built right now. Guess I wanted to check, right, this is what I wanted to check. I wanted to check to make sure that this would connect, and it will. Okay, cool. I was a little concerned that this would cause issues, but yeah, I am able to connect it like that, and then it should be able to continue. I think I have to flatten a bit before it'll do that. Interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty flat, but maybe not flat enough. And this is where we can maybe, again, introduce our terraforming to ensure things can continue down for a lot longer than they otherwise would have been able to. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll be able to continue this and connect over there. Here we can check to make sure. Oh, interesting. It's a little funky, eh? All right. Try from over here. And again, we will build this as asphalt, but just for the time being, making sure that I can actually make these connections. Yeah, that looks good. I wonder if I'll make these 2 one-ways or if I'll just let them both be 2 ways. It probably makes sense to make them 2 one-ways. Oh, I really wish this was a lot more lined up. That's fine. I'll never be able to tell. I'll never be able to notice. It's fine. All right, we're good. All right, with the amount of money we have right now, I think I'm okay to invest in a few more sewage trucks, because if I still take a look around, you'll see that our sewage tanks are still all backed up. And, I mean, part of me still wonders if I shouldn't have just built a pipe that connects all the way up to here to just, you know, force the flow of sewage at great cost, at immense cost of both time and money. But in the meantime, I guess I can keep buying more sewage trucks. Because that's not what I meant. Because I'm sure, oh, okay, I see. I can't click away from the text box, I guess. Because I'm sure we're still seeing, yeah, sewage tanks overflowing. Really not Really not great. A couple more maybe will do the trick. I don't know. Let's see. Sewage. Certainly afford a couple more. Get them coming. And let's assign that line. No need to come to the depot. Same thing for you, buddy. Let's go ahead and assign this line, and no need to come to the depot. Yeah, it's a long drive up to there, but it's something. These guys are basically acting like a pipe. I'm really curious if we'll be able, sorry, to make a significant enough difference there. And just to check, we are in progress here. Yeah. Oh, right, now that we actually have access to the steel and the boards and stuff, I'm sure that makes a difference. We're going to see progress here as well. Okay, excellent. What about up over here? These guys are waiting for some steel and some electronic components. I believe we are able to get them from Medium Customs House. Yeah, again, some of these things will be adjusted, but in due time. So this connection is happening. Just want to check real quick. Why are you blocked up over here? That's things like, why is it not detecting that I can go across over here? Stuff makes me nervous. I'm gonna be real with you. It makes me very nervous. Because this is a huge investment, and if it doesn't work for some arbitrary reason, that's gonna be not great. It's gonna be very not great. Gonna get rid of some of this road over here so we can actually flatten this terrain. And I don't think I have to be too concerned about this, but I'm doing this now. Rather, I don't have to be too concerned about this right now. The reason why I'm doing it right now is because I don't want it to be forgotten, and then we end up with an asphalt road down here that I won't tear up, and then all of a sudden we can't build in this central area, and that's a big problem. That'll be a big problem. So let's just do a bit of touching up over here for the time being. We'll come back to it later when it actually comes time to put down the technical university and all that good stuff. All right, cool. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Just waiting for people, I guess. Or can we get this stuff done with just a mechanism? I'm not 100% sure. We've got all the resources we need. You know what? I think we might actually need people. That would be the only reason this isn't being completed. Same thing over here. Both of these have a couple things in common. They're asphalt roads with streetlights, and there's no workers to actually work them. It's possible that that's because the cranes are busy elsewhere. That might be why. But in the interim, let's go ahead and get some workers coming here instead. Electricity problems. Electricity problems. Hang on. What do you mean electricity problems? Power's coming through here. We're all good here. We're all good here. Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm glad I saw that. I don't know what drove me to click the blue envelope, but I'm glad I did, because apparently we were planning on demolishing this. We do potentially have too many connections over here still, so that is something I'll need to look into. And for that, yeah, I'll need to draw power from up over here. We talked about this briefly previously. And we'll take a look at where we might be able to do that. If I go ahead and pop a substation down here, will it fit? Oh, wow, it will actually fit. That is genuinely surprising. I was not expecting that. It's a good spot for it because it provides a bit of redundancies up over there. And then it would reach quite far down this way as well, and there's not much we can do with this space otherwise. And that serves, well, for quite a few of our issues. The only thing is that I was planning on putting a garbage pickup spot over here, but I don't have to do that. What if I place it like this? Yeah, I mean, that works great. That works fantastically. Okay, let's pop you down there. And again, this isn't being built. It has now been paused. That's not being built, so these won't get built either. Cool. That's the electrical connection. We got to figure out power, but first the warehouse. First the warehouse. Sorry, I keep getting, I'll say distracted, but truth be told, these are all essential decisions as well. So is it really a distraction, or is it me just making sure all the gaps are plugged? Because God forbid I put all this down without putting this electrical substation down, and then these guys don't have power and everybody gets extremely upset. On which note, why are we at 62%? Why is government loyalty ever falling? That no electricity was a real kick, wasn't it? God damn. Come on. That escape count, I've stopped caring about it too much. We had good fun with it for as long as we could, but I've stopped caring about it as much. So we've got our warehouse. The warehouse is going to take food. It's going to take everything except for meat, basically. So let's see. How does this work? How do we plan this? Trying to figure out the best layout here. Lift that up a little bit. If I pop you down here, actually no. Here, let's do this. Let's tuck you in like so. Then we'll go ahead and get the meat storage, if I can find it here. There we go. I do not need 350 tons of meat. Get this meat storage. Like so. I'm trying to get a road cargo station in this area, I think. It'll make the distribution office management a bit easier. But I need to... God, the layout's not perfect for it. Okay, what if I pop you down there? Get the warehouse. Okay, let's try this. Over to you. Get the meat storage. Like so. Again, still trying to figure this out for sure. Not guaranteed to work like this, but pop you down like that, let's say. Make sure this connection's actually made as well. Then let's go ahead and get our regular warehouse. You can make a connection like that relatively easily. Yeah, that should be fine. Like so. This road ends over there, and that's fine, I think. Like, I don't necessarily need this to continue onwards. If anything, I'll have this one continue onwards, right? And find a nice connection over there. So that's actually pretty good. Leave that way, and then we'll have our road cargo station. Don't need such a big one. I can work with a tiny one. Yeah, these are kind of large, aren't they? Feels needlessly large. It allows us to have the distribution office only target the cargo station as opposed to these two things individually. But how much is that really saving us, I guess, is the question, versus how much is it costing us to build? Not that much, actually. Just space more than anything. Just space more than anything. All right, let's do a bit of flattening over here, because clearly we need more room either way, either for the cargo station or for the roads that'll like connect some of these spaces. The thing about the road cargo station as well is that it works faster. Like, let's say a vehicle is coming through with food, and another vehicle is coming through with clothes, and another one's coming through with electronics. If I'm just delivering them directly to the warehouse, they go in one at a time. And that can be extremely slow and painful, and it slows the entire system down. Whereas if I have a road cargo station, all three of them can find a berth. I don't know what the term actually is, but they can find a dock, I guess, a berth, in the cargo station, and they can all unload at the same time. And that's just much more effective. So hence me wanting to try and get a cargo station over here, because this is going to be this is a bigger one, right? This one's going to need a lot more resources, a lot more regularly. It's going to service a lot more people. It's a bit more of a central shopping center. So that's why I'm trying to think ahead a little bit. And when we get the bigger distribution offices as well, some of those situations might be more common, more frequent. And we have the money now to invest in some of these longer term plans. And so I feel like, why don't we? Lots of moving parts coming together with adjusting our distribution offices. It sounds like a small undertaking, but when we're going from a small, village almost to a medium-sized town, small city, there's a lot of changes that come with that upgrade. But these are, I think, worthwhile investments. I think we should put down the road cargo station. Maybe I'm being wasteful. I don't know. I'm sure y'all will let me know in the comments. And we'll learn our lesson and we'll take it from there. This is going to be interesting because this is a huge dip. I'm not going to build a bridge over here, though I could. I'm not going to invest in building a bridge. I'd much rather terraform. But I got to figure something out because there is a huge dip that happens in this area. We'll have to figure that out. Anyway, back to my distribution office if I can find you. Sorry, not distribution office, but my warehouse, road cargo station is what I meant to say. And yeah, I think the smaller one's probably fine. 2 vehicles at a time, it says, versus 6 versus 4. You know what? Okay, fine. Maybe the 4 is the right one. I think 6 might be overkill for this, but 4 might be the right number. And if I pop you down over here, you'll connect nicely to both of these buildings, not leaving enough room for the road, though. Instead, I'll have to do something like this, which is always fun. Trying to make sure I leave enough room as well. Something like that. Seems okay. What else can I do? Something like this. That isn't terrible, actually. Want to make sure it looks nice as well, basically. Aesthetics of the city is not a non-issue. Alright, here, let's do this kind of a thing. That way, if I decide to connect to something else down over here, I do have that factory connection available. I don't know what it would be, necessarily, but if I decide I need another shopping center or another grocery store or something, then I have that option right there. So sure. Here, let's pop you down. Why would you not connect further on? Because the angle's not good. Okay, fair enough. Sorry. Not meaning to fiddle, but I do also need to make sure that things actually connect and leave room for future additions. I'll flatten you a bit more. That should be enough room for the road there. Hook you up like so. Factory connection. Okay, good stuff. What I'll probably do is take this out this way for the time being. And then, yeah, we'll have to have a bit of a dip here. That'll need to be fine. Trying to figure out what we can do in the middle area. We can bring this down. Wonder if I can't. Oh. Trying to think of the best way to do this, like the best way to approach this. Probably like this. That kind of a thing. Make sure this is suspended. And we'll want to build this with the asphalt as well. Just planning for the time being, of course. Naturally, we can't make this perfectly straight. The little things sometimes, I swear. Go ahead and flatten. Just a little bit over here. So I can do what I need to. Raise this up. Okay, go ahead and flatten now. Looks like we should be good. Pull that out and hook up like that. Sure. I'd much rather this be a straight line than this be perfectly straight. So that'll do the trick there. And then we can go ahead and connect some of these other buildings. Let's see, like this one. You know, it can just be a sharp connection like this. Hoping for something a bit sharper. Obviously just do 90-degree angles, right? I can do this kind of a thing. And it is really just a matter of like, yeah, what are we going to put over here? I might be able to... Oh, you know what? Maybe something for culture would be nice. Let's see if we can't fit something for culture, because these guys aren't going to be able to reach the theater up there either, the cinema. So another little distraction over here as we plan for another need. Amphitheater. Ooh. The amphitheater has the same stats as far as like usage as the cinema does. It needs much less steel, and it's kind of fitting for a university space. Oh man, okay, I might actually put that over here. But what would I put up over here? I still gotta think about it. Maybe a pub, maybe a restaurant. Maybe a bunch of statues to help with the citizen loyalty. And why are we still at 62%? Crime, man. We got plenty of police officers right now. I mean, I really hope that some of these issues get solved. Thought we were doing an alright job. Unable to practice sports. We're working on it. We're working on it. I can't let myself get too distracted by it. But yes, culture over here. It might not be a terrible idea. It's a gallery of art. Oh, that's not too big. Public. Oh, that's massive. Museum of the Republic. Maybe not the right spot for it. Palace of. Nope, that's too big. Okay. I mean, this is nice, and it's right next to a university as well, so that's kind of cool. Don't know why I have a small garbage stand over here. That must have been a misclick. Let's get rid of you, buddy. And let's consider... Oh, again, some of these things are too big to fit in the area, but... Yeah, okay, we can maybe consider like a gallery of art or something. And again, it doesn't have to be connected with this road, or it can be connected like this instead. It doesn't have to be connected off the main road or off these back roads, but alright, cool. So this will designate for the time being as our like culture area. We'll see if we can't lift it up or something, but again, some of that stuff maybe I'll get distracted by at a later point in time. So here I am right now, because I want to see what's possible, I guess. There we go, that'll smooth out nicely. This will smooth out all nicely. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, beautiful, this is great. This is great. Yeah, it can fit against that. It can fit against this. And we'll have monuments and stuff. We'll have a nice little park area behind it as well. Yeah, okay. You know what? That feels pretty good. I wonder if I can get like a small pool or something. Nah, probably not. None of these are small. I can fit a pool if I want to, but none of these are small. Ah, these guys would be able to reach this pool. It'd be cool to have like a bit of a community center kind of a thing going on over here. I don't know how far folks can get. Feels like a right around the limits though. So again, you know, I was thinking maybe a pool here, maybe an amphitheater, maybe the school, and then some like parks and stuff in the area as well. And this becomes the community center / university area, plus a bit of a cultural building here, a cultural building there. This should fulfill the culture need. Alright, cool. Alright, I feel a lot better about this setup right now. So, this all makes sense. We still need to get a road connection to this building. We can do that pretty easily by extending this road out. We'll come around this way, basically. Go ahead and pop you down there. Bring a little mini complex here, I suppose. It's wild how big some of these buildings are. Like I would imagine, like our road cargo station is bigger than our entire shopping mall, you know? Feels wild. But probably accurate. Probably accurate. Alright, almost done here, folks. Almost done here. If I realized how much more we'd need to terraform, I would have done it all at once and then just edited it out, but didn't realize just how massive this space would be. Alright, that should do the trick for now. Go around like so. And hook you up. Well, actually, surely I can get a better connection here. There we go. Cool. So that connects all this. Let's go ahead and make sure that these guys are going to be built with streetlights and sidewalks. All of you. Yep. Beautiful. These guys as well. You too, buddy. And let's get you building. So once this gets built, everything else should follow over here. And then once these roads get built, everything else should follow over here. And we got plenty of money. I'm not concerned about the cost of the asphalt roads anymore. The electronics, the steel, it'll be fine. I think we're going to be okay. I hope this setup is good. I hope this setup makes sense. And we got our shopping center. It connects to the warehouse via this factory connection. And it connects to the meat storage via this factory connection. the shopping center itself. Just going to check the small shopping center. Takes food, clothes, electronics, meat. Food, clothes, and electronics will come through the warehouse. Meat will come through the meat storage. And all that stuff can be delivered via the road cargo station through this factory connection and this factory connection. I spoke about this factory connection as if it were an option for something down the line, but obviously we've put this road down over here. I could make a different connection to this warehouse, a temporary one perhaps, but I just don't know what I would extend this to anyway. You know what? Let's get rid of that road. Let's get rid of that road. Let's make a temporary one instead. Because I think realistically, I will find something to connect this to. Maybe, like, if I go straight out, I might actually, yeah, want another shopping center over here or something. Because this one's going to service all these people and a bunch of these people, so maybe I'll need another one that services a bunch of these people. Who knows? So why don't we go ahead and pull from here, because we can, right? And then go straight past there. And hook you up like so. Or like so. Sure. I think that makes more sense. This can temporarily be a dirt road while we wait to build some of this stuff. And we'll eventually make it asphalt, mainly for aesthetic reasons, because this warehouse, the only reason we'd ever need to reach it is if there's a fire. So, you know, the dirt road's enough for fire trucks to get here. Otherwise, we should be okay. All right, I think they should all be good. And wow, already making progress up there. Good stuff. Up over here, these roads are nearly completed. This one should be up next, or... I mean, I guess we should start making our way down here. We've got water now. Hang on, let's check. We've got water. We've got sewage. Garbage is down here. We've got power. Okay. And you, my good friend, you have water. Yep, you have sewage. And you'll have power as well. So these guys are all safe to build. They'll have all their basic necessities covered except for food and stuff. So these need to be a bit of a priority first, actually. All right, let's get all this stuff built, and then we'll go ahead and turn our attention to this. But these are all commissioned. They're all en route. Continue construction for you, buddy. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead and go with... batch start construction just to be safe. Make sure all these are being done. Make sure this one's being done as well, because we need to have power provided in the neighborhood. Okay. Now, with all that in place, we can actually turn our attention to the distribution situation. What's the deal up here? 3 tons of clothes. So we have some time still. I would very much like to get the vehicle that's providing export services, i.e. this one. Get him to... Oh. Where'd you go, buddy? You? Yeah. Do not load any crops. Actually, you know what? Load crops. Keep the crop thing going. Hold on. I gotta check something real quick. This is gonna be a little stressful, because we have what? We have 2 vehicles coming. We have this one that's bringing the crops and nothing else. The distribution offices are assigned, but what are they actually bringing to Ashkakal Warehouse 2? Ashkakal Warehouse 2, they're meant to be bringing fabric is all, but we're not doing that anymore, obviously. So I guess we're not actually... Okay, so let's get rid of that. And then Ashkakal Distribution Office. What are you doing here, buddy? Ashkakal Warehouse 2. Why do I not see it? I see Ashkakal Warehouse. I see the open storage. The small aggregate storage. I see the prison, and I see open storage 2. But I don't actually see this warehouse. Oh, hang on. That was still the Kurvarud one. Here we go. Okay. Ashkakal Warehouse 2. Yeah, crops, chemicals. Alright, so what are we trying to do here? what are we trying to do here? We're trying to go ahead and tell this truck not to load crops anymore. Where is he? You're coming all the way back? Okay, you're coming all the way back. That's fine. You've done your export. So it's time for you then to head over to this distribution office. At warehouse 2, we're going to unload crops and chemicals, and we're going to load clothes. We're going to try and keep storage percent at 0% here. That sounds good. At this warehouse, Ashcall warehouse, we're going to try and keep 10% of electronics, food. Sorry, I say electronics as I point to alcohol. My eyes were on electronics. Electronics, food, alcohol, and clothes. 10%. Right. Maybe it should be 20%. Okay. So they'll go to warehouse 2. They'll pick up clothes. They'll drop them off at this warehouse. I also want them to go to this warehouse where they'll load electronics. And I guess that's it. Because electronics are going to be stockpiled over here to meet the needs of this vehicle repair factory. Station. Right, so I'm going to reorder this a little bit so that the sources are at the top. So you're going to be up there, you're going to be up there. We're taking from Al-Balatakia crops, chemicals, alcohol, electronics, food. That's the thing, it's like, do I use this distribution office to pick it up from Al-Balatakia? No, I don't. But alcohol, sure. Okay. Alright. That should do the trick. At this warehouse, we're loading alcohol to drop it off at the pub, so that's fine. And then, yeah, from here we're loading clothes to drop them off at this warehouse, yep. And we also want to make sure that at Al-Balatakia we are unloading clothes. And hopefully that relationship will work okay, where clothes are being picked up from here, and if this warehouse is below 20% storage, they'll get dropped off over here. And if it's above 20% storage, then those very same clothes will be dropped off over here. We'll keep an eye on it because we're at 3 tons right now. Surely you've sent out one of the vehicles. Okay, good. You're bringing back crops. Let's see what happens here, actually. Drop off the crops. Gonna step away, and are you going to loop back to pick up the clothes? No. Is it because we don't have enough clothes at the warehouse to cross that threshold, that pickup threshold? Well, should be loading beyond 0%. Okay, this guy's come through. He also works for the Ashcall distribution office, and he is in fact going to export it. And that explains why the other truck didn't pick up the clothes, because somebody else was already assigned. It's going to be a little bumpy, and I'm going to have to keep an eye on this for the next little bit, because God forbid the flow of crops stops, God forbid the flow of clothes stops. We have a bit of a buffer now, and I feel quite good about that, but we still have to be careful about these potential bumps and the resulting bruises that might come from them. But this looks like it's working fine for now. So we can turn our attention to shifting one of these distribution offices all the way down to Al-Balatakia, because that's going to be a bigger deal, I think. All right, let's figure this out. What will we actually move around? And just a heads up, by the way, eventually, once this is built, I'll be able to actually assign this to the distribution office as well. But until it's built, I cannot add the connection. But I know that it's coming eventually, so I'll basically pop this down and have the same set of responsibilities for this as I do for this warehouse over here. And that should automatically distribute between the connections. And that should be all good. if memory serves me right on how distribution offices work. And if memory has served me wrong, then, well, we have a direct connection to this warehouse here and this meat storage here, and we do that instead. But we shouldn't need to. We shouldn't need to. All right, enough about that. Trying to figure out... You don't have a refrigerated... Yeah, truck. So that's all well and good. This is the one that brings meat back, and that can stay as is, and eventually we'll add that other road cargo station. So this is the one, then, that needs adjusting. It's bringing steel boards... Actually, I guess both of these. This is bringing steel boards... Yeah. It's just because they're traveling so far away. And all those gas stations. And the police station. We can actually get rid of the small aggregate storage. We're no longer importing gravel, so let's go ahead and remove that connection. And equally remove this connection there. Loading from Ashkal open storage bricks, while also unloading bricks, right? Because we're maintaining a 30% bill rate, or whatever you want to call it, of this spot, so that's okay. And then all the gas stations, and this open storage that was just recently added. Okay. I wish I could just, like, pick this building up and move it, you know? I can copy tasks to another building, but I need that other building to be built first to do that. And I can't get rid of one of these distribution offices until I get rid of all the vehicles. Well, I need to get rid of the office, and so if I've gotten rid of it, I can't actually copy its tasks. Let me see if these guys are the same. Loading, first of all, slightly different vehicles, so they're not the same. This one's responsible for all the distribution of gas. This one's more of a priority, I suppose. Again, still not importing gravel. Not going to use you to unload clothes either. I should call warehouse. This one's bringing in the food. This is going to be a bit messy, isn't it? Because you're bringing in the food and stuff now, so I guess you don't have to. Bring in the food. The alcohol. The clothes. And the electronics. Okay. So we can get rid of this entire connection. We don't need it. Don't need that. Open storage to 30%, okay. And then the aggregate storage, we wouldn't need that either, because we're not doing gravel anymore. The prison, that's the other one to consider. And does this distribution office take on the prison? How is the prison looking these days anyway? Plenty of food, plenty of clothes. So we've got a bit of a runway over here in terms of having to pay attention to it. What is going on here? What is going on here? Unable to drink alcohol. There's plenty available. Death of a child, arrival to prison. Low government loyalty continues to be a serious problem. That's actually a serious problem. What the hell's going on there? And then unable to practice sports. Why is that? Like, I understand that there's these issues, but they weren't a problem last month, 2 months ago. They weren't a problem all of last year. And now all of a sudden they've become a problem, even though we have more people working in this neighborhood. How does that make sense? How does that add up? And that's obviously impacting happiness, which is impacting the escapes, I assume. Yeah, up to 44 now. Hey, at least the university-educated people are sticking around at a decent enough number. But that is a serious... Okay, I guess I can't let that distract me. Let's go ahead and move forward at normal speed for the time being. Just because otherwise I feel like some of these things are going to get away from me. And I need to do this whole thing. Oh, man. Okay, it's actually not that much. When I zoom it out like this, it's actually not that much. Alright, you know what? We just gotta rip the band-aid. We just gotta rip the band-aid. So, you, let's go ahead and move all your vehicles to here. You can see them roll out slowly but surely, one at a time. They'll make their way over. We'll go ahead and get rid of this one, and then we'll put one down next to Alba Lutakia. Again, I really want the distribution office research done, but we have... Do we now have enough university-educated people? I can't say we do, because we still have people sometimes unable to visit a hospital. And it's like, these guys, where are you going for work? If you're not going repeatedly to the hospitals and the police stations. I mean, the police station's doing okay, actually. Though I see 43% unexamined criminal cases last year. That's not great. We have no cases in the courthouse. What? Why? And the low government loyalty as well. I've built so many statues. How many more statues do you want? Again, I get it. I need the radio broadcast up and running and stuff like that, but... Yeah, maybe it's time to turn our attention to some research. Temperature's too low at 13 degrees Celsius. Come on. Maybe we start looking at some research. And the question becomes, do we focus on the distribution office first, which would be logistics optimization, and then there's the distribution office tech, or do I focus on the broadcast stuff first? Well, the broadcast stuff, I need to build the technical university first, so sure. Let's go with logistics optimization. 20 party officials max. There's 20 max up there. Slower rate of education, but we'll make some progress on logistics optimization. And I just want to double check to make sure. Logistics optimization, lease of the distribution office. Yep, okay, cool. Still working with our temporary one for the time being, but at least that's a start. Go ahead and get rid of you. Away you go. No need for, you know, demolition offices or anything, fortunately. And over here, let's go ahead and place our free distribution office. Copy down, like right over here. Need a gas station in the area as well. Trying to figure out a good spot. Like, I don't want it to be all the way up over here. I want it to have quick access to the customs house. Doesn't make sense not to. Copy down like so. No connection right now, so I can make sure it's a drip connection. Here, copy down like so. And the gas station, if I can find it. Well, actually, you know what? This gas station is probably close enough. This one over here is probably fine. So, dirt road connection. And let's figure out, first of all, the vehicles. Because without the vehicles here, I can't actually assign any tasks. Where is... What's up with this guy? Oh, I guess he's significantly slower. That's what's up with him. Alright. Fair enough. Send... Well, let's let this vehicle arrive, and then I can give the more efficient command, I guess. Send them all over, get them assigned their tasks, and also get this stuff operating, so that we'll have this stuff operating. These construction offices are done too, so it's about time to move. Whoa, boy! About time to move a lot over. Let's go ahead and switch these guys over to here first. Once they arrive, I can adjust their orders. That's not going to be any faster, is it? But hey, at least we know this connection can be made. If need be. But okay, all those guys are making their way over. Let's turn our attention briefly to this warehouse to make sure it's got plenty of clothes. This warehouse to make sure it's not got plenty of clothes. Again, probably waiting for a certain amount. At least we're bringing crops on a regular basis. I wonder if I should bring that up a little bit. Just to make sure there's always a significant surplus, because if we're trying to hit a 20%, was it 20%? Was it 10%? Where are we? 50%. Sure. Yeah, if we're always aiming for 40 tons of crops over here, chances are we'll have a constant flow, and that'll be okay. And just a quick look down over here as well. All right, we're already at 5%. It's not bad. Got a few students waiting for their education. This always hurts to see, but I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for me to just kind of rip the band-aid, basically. And I think it's also necessary for me to auto-assign this guy for roads moving forward. Because we're constantly not building these roads because we're waiting for people to come through. And so now it's time to change that up as well. Though pretty soon we're gonna get these these construction offices set up. Guys are on their way over. Almost here. That is a dirt road. Yep. Slowly but surely. Alright, cool. Good stuff. Good enough. Bit of a, significant revamp. Coming very, very close to Ali Rashna as well. Slowly creeping our way down. Yeah, see, like, this has slowed us down so much, just not having those workers assigned over here. I'm sure we would have made a lot of progress if we just pulled the trigger on that sooner. That's okay. Over here, this is intentionally not being built right now, and that's okay too. Gotta figure out the supply of power, but again, not in too much of a rush. There's a lot of other construction that needs to be done here first. This, for example, has also been waiting for workers, hasn't it? Yeah, it has. God damn. Alright, well, they're making their way over now, so that's good. Right, you've received your first vehicle, your second vehicle. Third vehicle is on its way as well. So, first things first would be Al-Balatakia. Then we have our small open storage. Well, let's do the warehouse and the small open storage. And then the prison and this small open storage. I'm going to rename. I should call brick open storage. And I feel like I should rename to like the Ashikal construction open storage or something. Because not having named these things, starting to pay the price. And yes, even though the construction open storage and the construction warehouse is being used for non-construction matters, that's okay, because their primary purpose is construction, one could say. Alright, back over here. So, at the construction open storage, we're going to be unloading steel and boards. Right. And at the construction warehouse, we're going to be unloading plastics, electronic components, and fabric. I guess we're importing fabric again because we don't want to hurt our rate of production up over here. We're almost always topped up, actually. I don't know how much fabric we'll need down there. Okay, we'll see. But we do need to, yes, unload fabric at this warehouse. Just a real quick check over here. I could just import in lump amounts, I suppose. We also need mechanical components, right? Plastics, electronic components, electronics, mechanical components, and fabric. That should be everything we need there. Construction, steel, and boards. We will not be loading anything from there, so we can uncheck that. At the prison, yes, we'll want to unload food and clothes. And at the brick open storage, we will be aiming to maintain 30% of bricks. Okay. Okay. we'll go ahead and add a connection to this warehouse. Taking a bit of a chance here. Load fabric as long as it's above 60% full. Right, because we don't want to drain too much. And unload it at that construction warehouse. Okay. Go ahead and change order, move you up here. Basically putting the inputs up top. And really quickly want to check if this guy is doing his job. He is. He's going to pick up 9 tons of fabric. Bring them from there down to here. Cool. Otherwise, in the Al Balutakia large customs office, we're going to bring in what? Steel, boards, electronics, plastics, electronic components, mechanical components, and bricks only when needed. We're going to unload bricks, and I think that's it. Oh wait, do we need alcohol as well here? But also we're dropping off at prison. Clothes and food. Food, sure. Clothes we'll handle ourselves, I think. Internally. Would make more sense. I think that covers all of our bases. We'll find out very quickly if it doesn't, because people will start complaining. But I think that covers all of our bases. And hopefully that means we'll have... where are we? This thing topping up in no time. This thing's already seeing some action, so that's good. And we're able to actually get our construction offices to work off of this instead. Now, I could go in and adjust all these construction offices, or I could shift all these vehicles to these construction offices and just give them the assignments instead. Because, folks, this area is well, ready to go. There's our first delivery as well. Fabric being delivered to this warehouse over here. Good stuff. Very, very pleased with our progress this session. A lot of planning for sure, especially up over there. Stuff that we haven't seen erected yet, but a lot of planning. Very essential planning. A lot of essential movement of like our distribution offices and planning on that front as well. And then actually getting this area fully built with some movement of resources. It feels great, my goodness. It's been a long time coming, folks, and of course spending the time away from the series makes this feel all that much sweeter, because it feels like a stamp of progress. I hope y'all enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do. Please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, makes a very big difference in letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel. Lets me know what I should do more or less of and how I should go about doing it. And again, I do read through all of the comments. Right now, I'm kind of marathoning a bunch of sessions over here back to back to back. So if I'm not responding to comments, if I'm not acting on comments right now, that's why, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode as well. But, you know, I am still reading the comments as they come through, and I will implement or respond to them, you know, one way or another when I'm all caught up and when you're all caught up and all that as well. But, folks, I do hope you've been enjoying. Let's go ahead and pull back to our view from the sky. Let's lament this dropping down to 61% for... I'm not exactly sure why. We've solved a lot of problems, but we're still seeing a downward trend over here. I sincerely hope we don't enter the 50s, because that will make me very kind of bummed. I'll look into it. I'll see what's going on. But otherwise, you know, if we ignore this number here, take a look at that. That is some serious progress, folks. And on that note, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. They'll keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.